Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to part two of the concept of a customized and sustainable Aliyah. Last time we spoke, Donna spoke to us about having a customizable Aliyah. Now we want to speak about a sustainable Aliyah. So Donna, please, what does that mean? What does it mean to have a sustainable Aliyah?
Right, Ariel, thank you very much. Actually, it's funny to talk about sustainable Aliyah, right? Sustainability is a new concept, trendy concept that people talk about, but never comes up to mind when we talk about Aliyah. You know, the green and the whatever it is. But here, what I'm talking about is essentially knowing that you're making Aliyah for the long term. And what does that mean? Aliyah is emotional for everybody. Aliyah is a fun and an exciting step for everybody, and it can be, and it is actually a life changer, right? But you want to be able to make sure that that step is not in vain, and then you're going to be able to maintain it throughout time. And how do you do that? Usually, or essentially, what you do is calculate the way you are placing all of your resources, right? Every decision making is constrained by the resources that you have. And I'm talking about time, money, efforts, and all these different things, energies, and so on and so forth. So these are things that we think that we're super excited about and so on. And so we don't think they are limited for us, but they are actually. And so that is exactly what I'm talking about. Knowing exactly where to place and how to place those resources is something that is going to make up for a time-proof aliyah.
Offering. Okay.
Okay.
So Donna, can you explain? Can you give us an example of a sustainable aliyah? You were talking about what it means to have a sustainable aliyah. Can you give us an example of maybe of clients you've worked with or just in general?
Sure, I'll tell you what. The economic part, for example, may be the most trivial one, right? Something that we think about that money is limited, and so it's very natural for clients to ask, so okay, so how do I budget my month in Israel, right? How is it going to look like? What to expect? What are the prices over there, and how is it going to be different from what I'm doing right now in my own country? So that's the most common one. But if we're talking, for example, about the energies, right? Energies, we usually think that they are unlimited, we're all for it, and all these different things. We're excited and this and that. But then I found a lot of my clients coming after a few months being in Israel and telling me, listen, I can't anymore. Like I'm finding myself without energies because of all the different processes and the bureaucracy and the administration that I need to be dealing with, and I'm always running around, and I'm never getting what I want to get because it's hard because I don't know the language, and I don't know the mentality and so on. And so for me, it's important to know how to place your energies, right? You want to know exactly which specific aspects in your life are you going to place your energy in, and which others are you leaving to people that know how to do it a lot faster and a lot more efficiently than you do. So for example, bureaucracy is something that you're not going to learn from day one. It's hard. It's something that you've been growing into in your own country for so many different years, right? And so when you get to Israel all of a sudden with a whole family, and you need to know how to deal with all these processes for each one of your members, you might find yourself energy drained completely in just a few months. So that is one of the important things that you need to think
So
of.
right, so let's talk about energy for a second. It's actually pretty funny. Like when I was asking the question, I was not expecting that answer. Like for me, like what's energy, you know? But let's talk about that because that's very important. That's just your mental capacity of like if something frustrates you, you could get really annoyed and you could be like, screw this, I'm out, you
You're
know.
right.
So like so how do you help with that mental energy?
Well, usually that's something that, so far as you know that you're handling only the processes and things that you can handle in Israel, like for example, your social integration, learning the language, and all these different things, and then you put aside those that you don't know how to handle on your own, and well, that's what we actually do for people, handle the processes that are a lot more complicated here in Israel, and that only a person that knows how to speak Hebrew and push for it the right way would get the results for. And so that's what exactly we take away from the people, so that they can keep their energy for as long as possible in Israel. And so I'll tell you something. There's three things that I recommend people doing before they make Aliyah, and that's also what I promised myself when I came to Israel back 10 years ago. So the first thing is learning the language, right? Speak it as an Israeli. Do not speak it as an American. Do not speak it as a French person, and so on and so forth, because people recognize it and you want to be integrated as fast as possible. So, Shalom, Bruchim Habayim leIsrael, and not any other version of that sentence, right? So that's the first thing. I know it's a hard thing to do, but I totally and 100% promote that among Olim.
And it can't be with an American accent. It has to be with an Israeli accent.
It could be with an American accent and you can navigate somehow your life over here, but people recognize it. And so they're going to instantly think that they cannot talk to you as comfortably as possible because you're not going to understand everything, or because you're not the mentality type of the Israeli. And, it's better for you to be and to speak it as an Israeli. And the second thing,
I just on that point, I remember my father, when he first moved to Israel, I asked him, how did you learn Hebrew? He said, look, when you have to go to the bathroom, you're going to learn how to ask, where's the bathroom, in Hebrew. No one speaks any other language.
Exactly.
So just what
So I'll tell you something also. A lot of people think, and they're right technically, that you can get away with it without knowing Hebrew, because there's communities of every kind over here in Israel. But do you really want to stay in that bubble, and do you really want to, not get out of it and get integrated into the society, but not only into the society, into the system? Because when you encounter the government authorities, for example, they're not going to talk to you in French. They're not going to talk to you in Russian. I mean, you could find one or two people, but usually you're not going to get away with it.
Right.
And so the second point that I really recommend people is very related to that one, which is understanding and adapting to the mentality of Israel. It is a mentality that is completely different from everything that we know abroad, right? I come from Europe, but I've been also living in other continents, Africa, and other different places. And so I know that I'm talking about a very, very different and unique mentality over here. So in Rome, you should be a Roman, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. And I would say that the third thing that I promised myself was to know how to navigate the system. I know this is, the opposite of what I should be saying, because I usually am the one who knows how to navigate the system for people. But I really do want Olim to learn how to, what each institution is, how each Israeli authority works, what do they do, how do they do it, and what should be your best contacts. So that is something that we're also going to talk about in one of our future videos.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, Donna. I really do appreciate you explaining what it means to have a sustainable aliyah. And it's funny, I was actually just about to ask you for the point number 3. Can we have future videos on that? Because I guarantee you, someone who's watching this right now is probably like, yes, I actually really need to learn them, because I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Absolutely. We're gonna have a couple of videos actually, because there's a lot of different institutions that you need to get to know here in Israel.
Fantastic. I guess that covers my question of, can you give us a teaser for our next video? Unless we're not doing that video next, so then what's the next video?
It's a surprise. Let's go on to the next video and you'll see what comes
Okay, all right. I like the suspense.
next.
All right, thank you very much, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.